Hi YouTubers, it's Stuart again at My Pace on YouTube. I've come back to record another video just to talk in a little bit more detail about data. I want to talk about the Ubigi or Ubigi SIM, about high data usage, how to set a data limit. So if you're using a third-party contract and that has, say, a 12 gig limit, but you want to make sure that you don't automatically, if you've got one of those contracts that auto adds data as soon as the allowance is consumed, then you kind of want to make sure you don't blow through that and that you're getting charged and you don't know. There is also another challenge, of course, because they tend to send you those kind of notifications via text, and we'll talk a little bit about that, because obviously the SIM, once it's placed in the car, the calling and text functions are not available. You can only use the data. And that kind of brings me on to, I got a 3 unlimited SIM for my phone. Quite a few people on the UK Facebook group were using 3, and so it felt like a reasonably well-trodden path. So I used that. They got reasonably good coverage. My personal mobile is with Vodafone, and I've got an additional 20 gig there. So if I did really get stuck, I could tether off my mobile in a sort of low reception area effectively. And I've got another video you can watch on how to tether off your mobile, so you don't have to have, you can basically throw the Ubigi SIM away if you want to, and you don't have to buy or have a second contract, which I know a lot of people are keen at. I was initially that was the way I was going to go, but it was so cheap to get an unlimited contract now. It was £24 a month from 3. I rung it up and left it in the car, and they called me a couple of days later and offered me that plan for 22. So I took it. It seemed like a good deal. And we're going to talk about how do you manage the account when you can't receive text messages with things like on 3. If you want to set up an account or register as a user, you have to go in to the text message, because that's where they send you your password. Now you could, I guess, put the SIM in an unlocked phone, but all SIMs today, most phones tend to be nano SIMs, and the car takes a micro SIM, and if you pop the SIM out of its holder, it's going to be very difficult to get it back in the car, nigh on impossible. So how do you manage that? How can you log onto your account? How can you get a password when you don't have those functions? So let's jump in and you just have a quick look at the UI. And if we go to all settings, we can jump in here into features, and we can have a little look at navigation and look at connected features. And connected features, all features there. So you can see here, and it's pretty clear about which functions are the ones that use a lot of data for the navigation. The street level and satellite view. So street level is effectively when you set a destination, it'll allow you to use like Google Earth or Google Street View to actually see what the destination looks like from a sort of street view, Google Street View perspective. Satellite view is just the high resolution images that you get, so Google Earth effectively. So turning those two things off will really help keep data usage down. As I say, 20 quid for 100 gig, or I got 22 unlimited. You can turn all this stuff on and enjoy it. You've also got some of the other functions. In the media, of course, you've got the you can use the online media, so that you've got a couple of different resources there that you can stream stuff. But that's down to you. I personally use Spotify, so I'd probably more likely to use Apple CarPlay with Spotify, or just use Spotify from my phone. So that's a quick kind of rundown of where the high data usage stuff is and what you can turn off to sort of keep your data usage down if you want to. If you jump into all settings and you go to connectivity, you can see you've obviously got Bluetooth, mobile data, hotspot. The hotspot's only available if you're using an onboard SIM, because it's then using that to funnel through the hotspot, and it's just acting as a Wi-Fi access point like you've got in your house. If you've got your 500 gig SIM and you're using the Ubigi one, I would probably turn the hotspot off. You're probably not going to use it. Wi-Fi, obviously, that allows you to connect to any Wi-Fi, so your home Wi-Fi, but also the Wi-Fi tether onto your personal mobile, and I've got another video about that, and that's how you achieve not using the onboard SIM. You do need to make sure though, if you're going to use Wi-Fi, is that just follow my video. It shows you what settings in mobile data to change so that it's not constantly trying to go over the mobile data and it's using the Wi-Fi. So if we jump into mobile settings, you can see my provider is 3. I've got roaming on. I don't have a data usage set. This is how much data I've used since I last reset it. So if we jump into data usage, you can see I've set 1,000 gigabytes there. I've got it off because I don't need it. You can set the monthly reset date. Now that's obviously when your contract data refreshes. So if that's on the 15th of the month and you have a 12 gig contract, you would set 12 gig, reset on the 12th, and then the system will automatically update and assume that the limit has gone back to 0 on the 17th. And obviously you can reset the counter at any time, so you can see how much data you've used. So that's quite an interesting exercise if you want to turn on the high data stuff, go for a little drive. You can come back and see just about how much data you're chewing. May help make your decision about what kind of contract you might need. So if we take that back, obviously turn that on, the data usage there, and obviously you can see it then gives you the I've used 0 of 1,000 gigabytes. I'm going to turn that off. I've got an unlimited data SIM, so I don't need that. So we've covered a bit about the Ubigi SIM. I'm going to include a quick screenshot here of the app on the iPhone. You should have been given by your dealer a little Ubigi pack. It's a small pack, sort of folding cardboard pack, and in there would have been your logon details and your password. That means you can download the Ubigi app onto your iPhone and you can see how much data you've used from that plan. But as I say, that plan I burnt in about 2 days, and it's very expensive to top up. So I would recommend, if you want to use an onboard SIM, is to just go for a third-party provider. And some contracts will allow you to share data between plans, so that's an interesting option as well. I think 3 allows you to do that. Vodafone certainly don't. Oh, I must add at this point, I'm by no way affiliated with Jaguar, Ubigi 3, Vodafone, anybody. I'm not getting paid to do this. This is just sharing with the community. So how do you then manage an onboard SIM when you don't have text messages? You're normally done through an app on a phone. It's a bit of a challenge. So what I found out was that if you go back to connectivity, so let's actually go back to home, go into all settings, so you can follow it through, go to connectivity. Now to do this, to manage your onboard SIM directly from the account online, what you will need to do is make sure your Wi-Fi is turned off. That is absolutely key. This isn't going to work unless your Wi-Fi is turned off. So this is for managing the onboard SIM and seeing the contract details, how much data you've used, etc. The reason you must turn the Wi-Fi off is because the car will automatically default to put all data flow through the Wi-Fi. And the way we're going to do this is by allowing the cell tower to auto-detect our SIM and auto-log us onto our account. So it should become, that might sound a little complicated, but it should become plain in a second. So we've got mobile data on, we saw that, we've got Wi-Fi turned off. So if we go to the home screen, and what we do is we go over to the web browser. And I haven't checked this out for Vodafone. This is how it works for 3. I really was scratching my head trying to work out how I was going to manage the SIM, work out how much data I'd used and manage the account generally. So 3 have a way of doing it for iPads, which obviously again don't have text and call function on but can have data. So what I found was there's a specific address you can go to. I've saved it into my favourites, but it is 3 the word .co.uk/my3. That's the URL address. I'll stick it up in the description of the video, so you can click on that link if you want to. So if we go to that link, load, there we go. I just didn't push it hard enough. So now it's loading that 3 web page, and that is going through the mobile, that's going through the onboard SIM, and as you can see, it's automatically logged me onto my account without me needing to log on. I did try going from a web page in the house, and I did try setting up an account, but it kept saying to me, we've texted the password to your mobile phone. No good to me. I don't have any text function because it's built into the car. But what you can see is here you can manage your allowances, your bills, your details, your upgrades. Effectively, it's everything you need to manage the account. You can actually, I believe, set a password here. I haven't tried that. I have seen some varying things around that you may not be able to change the password from here, or there are some account functions that you can't change from here. But at least, you know, if you're on a 3 contract and you're, say, on a 12 gig contract, at least if you haven't been keeping track on the car of how much you've used and you want to know if you're close to running out, you can come in here and go to things like check my allowance. Now I can go to check my allowance, but I'm obviously on an unlimited contract, so it's just going to say unlimited, unlimited, unlimited. If you're on a different contract, it would show you something different. But hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can then manage the onboard SIM without needing to get text messages with passwords, etc. in them. How you can have a little tweak around with some of the data usage functions so that you can reduce the data. Look at my other video if you want to tether off your personal mobile, because you don't want to have you don't want to use the Ubigi SIM, or you don't want to have a second contract for the car. Hopefully this was helpful. If you've got any questions, leave some stuff in the comments. Yep, that's me. I hope this was helpful, and I'll be back with another video soon. Cheers, bye.